Following the success of booster dose vaccination for adults and vaccination program for adolescents, children aged from 3 to 11 will be the next set of groups to be administered. And this is in anticipation for the school reopening on January 10th as Sarawak moves to phase 4 tomorrow.
Incoming Deputy Chief Minister Datuk Dr. Sim Kui Hian confirmed the matter on Saturday during a Facebook Live session with Kuching South Mayor Datuk Wee Hong Seng. Dr. Sim added he had discussed with the Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin of plans to inoculate children below 12 in Sarawak starting next month, adding that the vaccine to be used will be Pfizer-BioNTech at lower doses than that for adults. On the Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan, the Batukawa Assemblyman reminded the public to be vigilant and not to be complacent in light of the new Omicron variant.
Now, there is no drastic increase in COVID-19 cases recorded in Sarawak after the recently concluded 12-seat election held last month. Nangka Assemblyman Dr. Anwar Rapai also said the infectivity rate in the state currently stood at 0.70%, the lowest in Malaysia.
Dan kita monitor keadaan di Sarawak selepas pilihan raya ini, tetapi saya melihat daripada semasa kempen dan semasa selepas pembuangan undi, kadarnya tidak ada meningkat, malah menurun. Kita nampak kes kita tidak ada yang mendadak menaik, tapi kita perlu beri perhatian lagi dalam masa 2-3 hari ataupun 4-5 hari ini untuk melihat kesan pilihan raya negeri mengenai kadar jangkitan.
Commenting on the booster dose vaccination in Cebu, Anwar said that so far a total of 72.95% of eligible recipients have been vaccinated.
Okey, kadar booster kita di Cebu 72.95% telah mengambil booster. Sekarang ini ada Sinovac pun ada, dan saya akan activate semula selepas pilihan raya ini, iaitu mobile vaccination. Kita mahu semungkin ramai yang mendapat booster dose ini dan juga secepat mungkin. Dan tapi setakat ini 72.95% daripada yang layak sudah menerima booster dose di Cebu.
The Senate Operating Procedures (SOPs) for Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan for Sarawak will be issued on Tuesday, January 4th. According to State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC), the SOPs will be handled by Sarawak's Local Government and Housing Ministry. This comes as the state will transition to Phase 4 of the NRP starting Monday, January 3rd. In a statement, it advised the public not to be complacent despite the transition and to continue adhering to the SOPs set by the government. On December 31st, Senior Defence Minister Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein announced that the government had agreed for Sarawak and Kelantan to move to Phase 4 of the NRP on January 3rd. Hishamuddin said the decision was taken after taking into account the current risk assessment carried out by the Ministry of Health (MOH) and the National Security Council (NSC). Sarawak Tourism Board (STB) welcomes Sarawak's transition to Phase 4 of the NRP beginning Monday, January 3rd. Its chairman, Dennis Ngau, told TVS that the local tourism players are ready to boost and reinvigorate the Sarawak tourism industry. He said the transition will help encourage and revitalize Sarawak tourism activities, which were badly affected by COVID-19.
Jadi kita di negeri Sarawak memang walaupun masa pandemik COVID yang lepas ataupun sekarang ini, kita senantiasa engage dengan industri player lah, supaya mereka akan senantiasa bersedia apabila dibenarkan saja aktiviti pelancongan diadakan dalam negeri Sarawak. Industri pelancongan, para pemain dalam industri ini senantiasa bersedia. Jadi saya berkeyakinan bila industri pelancongan ini dibuka seperti mengikut syarat dalam fasa keempat pandemik COVID, kita senantiasa bersedia menerima para pengunjung lah.
The transition would also allow the revival of festivals such as Rainforest World Music Festival (RWMF) and Borneo Jazz Festival.
Seperti yang kita maklum, dua festival ikon negeri Sarawak iaitu Rainforest World Music Festival dan juga Borneo Jazz Festival yang telah kita tetapkan akan diadakan dalam bulan Jun tahun depan ini, tahun 2022 ini. Kita merancangkannya akan diadakan secara hybrid, iaitu secara fizikal dan juga online. So ini nanti akan membantu kita lah sebab tahun 2022 ini Rainforest World Music Festival telah mencapai usia 25 tahun sejak ianya dimulakan. Secara kecil-kecilan dulu hingga sekarang dia menjadi sebuah festival yang sangat-sangat ditunggu-tunggu oleh penggemar muzik yang sedemikian daripada seluruh dunia.
He is also confident that these festivals will be able to attract more tourists to Sarawak. In addition to fighting COVID-19, Sarawak is also battling the fight against rabies. And this is in line with its aim to achieve zero rabies in humans and zero rabies in dogs by 2025. And to this, the Department of Veterinary Services, TVS Sarawak, targets to vaccinate over 50,000 dogs statewide this year.
According to its director, Dr. Adrian Susin Ambud, in a local paper, more aggressive anti-rabies vaccination will be rolled out to ensure that more dogs will be vaccinated this year. In contrast, a total of 12,835 dogs were vaccinated for the period of January 1 until December 21, 2021. The low number is attributed to the movement control order enforced last year. Meanwhile, the total cumulative number of rabies-infected areas in Sarawak remains at 72, with Sarian Division being the most rabies-infected area. The division was the first to be declared as a rabies-infected area since the outbreak of rabies in 2017. Thus, Dr. Susin reminded dog owners to ensure that their dog receives the anti-rabies vaccine annually. He added the anti-rabies vaccination programs by Sarawak's Veterinary Services Department will be communicated to the public through Sarawak Disaster Information and Sarawak Public Communication Unit UKA's Facebook page.
Namun ketika menjangkau usia 6 bulan, saya didiagnose sebagai pekak kerana demam panas.
If you want to say, Mommy, I love you, how do you say?
Actually, OKU, there more responsibility.
Jika melakukan sesuatu dengan segala keupayaannya, dia menjadikan kekurangan itu sebagai kekuatannya.
Saksikan saya Nadia Akilah bersama Tony Yusof dalam rancangan Tony Lapar, eksklusif di TVS, saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
Welcome back. 7 individuals were arrested while 1 arrest warrant was issued following the New Year operation conducted by the Royal Malaysian Police Force on New Year's Eve. These arrests were made following SOP violation located in Satok, Kuching City Centre and Padungan.
The suspects consisted of 6 men and a woman. Police also seized a packet of drugs believed to be methamphetamine, which weighed 5.27 grams, costing approximately 527 ringgit. The case is now being investigated under Section 39A in bracket 1 of the Dangerous Drug Act 1952, where suspects are punishable with a jail time not more than 2 years or not more than 9 whips or both if found guilty. During the same operation, police have also inspected 15 bistros and other commercial centers and places of gatherings located in Masjid, IOI Tunjungan, Saradise BDC, Tabuan Tranquility, Metro City, and the Kuching waterfront, to name a few. This involved the inspection of 1,484 vehicles and 2,424 individuals.
In related incident, 4 men were arrested for driving under the influence DUI following a roadblock held in conjunction with the New Year celebration. The arrests were made after the suspects, aged between 22 to 38 years old, failed the evidential breath analyzer or EBA test.
Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Chief Superintendent Alexan Nagachabu disclosed that the suspects are now being investigated for DUI under the Road Transport Act 1987. At the same time, Alexan stated a total of 97 summons were issued for various traffic offences during the operation in Simpang Tiga, Kuching, which took place between 10 p.m. to 3:30 a.m. on December 31 to January 1. Similar operations were also held at 56 locations statewide, where 378 summons were issued, while 1,713 vehicles and 2,134 individuals were checked. Meanwhile, 2 underage motorcyclists were apprehended in Miri for performing the wheelie stunt at Jalan G4. Both are being investigated under Section 42 of the Road Transport Act 1987.
And 2 male suspects were arrested after tested positive for drugs at Jalan Bau Srikin. And both suspects, aged 19 and 28 years old, confessed to the police for abusing drugs and were taken to the district police headquarters for interrogation.
The arrest was made in conjunction with the New Year celebration patrols and SOPs monitoring held nationwide. Bau District Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Poge Nyaon said both suspects resides in Kampung Sebiris, Lundu. He added no drugs were found on both suspects and one of them has a past criminal record. Poge stated that the 2 youths will be investigated under Section 15 in bracket 1 in bracket A of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952.
1 man was killed while 3 others were seriously injured when the vehicle they were traveling in crashed into a tree at Jalan Tanjung Gedorong in Bintulu. Ministry of Health officer who was at the scene confirmed the victim's death due to head injuries.
Setibanya di tempat kejadian, kami dapati benar berlaku kemalangan jalan raya yang melibatkan kemalangan Kediri sebuah kereta Protonwira yang dinaiki 3 lelaki dan 2 perempuan. Dipercayai hilang kawalan dan melanggar sebatang pokok di tepi jalan. Seorang penumpang belakang sebelah kiri telah disahkan meninggal dunia oleh pihak ambulans, manakala 4 lagi mangsa dikejarkan ke Hospital Bintulu untuk mendapat rawatan lanjut. Tiada sebarang operasi dijalankan kerana semua mangsa telah dikeluarkan oleh orang awam. Mayat mangsa telah diserahkan kepada pihak polis untuk tindakan selanjutnya. Pasukan bomba kemudian memastikan keadaan selamat sebelum bertolak balik ke balai.
Meanwhile, the strong impact from the accident also caused the car to be badly crushed on the front part. Sarawak Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Head Superintendent Alexan Nagachabu said the victim has been identified as a 23-year-old Vincent Tanyang Meeting. Based on the facts of the case, 3 other victims, including the driver, a 26-year-old man, suffered a fractured bone, while 2 women, both 24 years old, were still being treated in the yellow zone of Bintulu Hospital. Another 31-year-old male passenger did not suffer any injuries upon doctor's examination. During the accident, Alexan said the vehicle was heading towards Bintulu town from Sungai Plan. The case is currently being investigated under Section 41 in bracket 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987.
The temporary suspension of travel permission to perform Umrah is to slow down the spread of the Omicron variant, said Health Minister Kari Jamaluddin. He disclosed that almost 78% of the presumptive new Omicron cases are from those returning from the pilgrimage.
In his Twitter post, Kyrie said that the presumptive Omicron is 100% confirmed Omicron through the full genome sequence by the Institute for Medical Research IMR. He said that the Omicron transmission was greater than the Delta variant, and if the case denominator was larger, there would be a higher admission to hospitals and intensive care units ICU. Thus, in an effort to avoid the health system from crippling, the Health Ministry decided on the matter in a strategy to slow down the Omicron variant. The Health Minister also did not rule out the possibility of a big wave of Omicron in Malaysia. Hence, he advised the public to get the booster shots, wearing face masks, conduct COVID-19 self-testing, and use the MySJ Trace as a measure to slow the spread of Omicron. Yesterday, Kyrie announced that the government had decided to temporarily suspend travel permission to perform Umrah starting January 8 to curb the spread of the Omicron COVID-19 variant. The postponement was due to concerns over the spread of the variant due to non-compliance by Umrah pilgrims with the home quarantine procedure, resulting in infection among family members.
The Employees Provident Fund, EPF, should not be seen as a solution or a way to overcome challenges, as this will affect the retirement savings of contributors. Finance Minister Dato Sri Tengku Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said this is especially important as Malaysia is expected to hit aging nation status by 2030.
Tujuan KWSP adalah tidak lain dan tidak bukan untuk persediaan hari tua. Apabila kudrat untuk terus bekerja mula berkurangan, perlu kita ketahui adalah amat penting rakyat kita memiliki persediaan hari tua kerana tidak lama dari sekarang, iaitu pada tahun 2030, Malaysia dijangka akan mencapai status negara tua.
Tengku Zafrul said this in response to certain quarters that have been urging the government to allow a one-off iCitra withdrawal of 10,000 ringgit for contributors affected by flood in the country. The finance minister stressed that EPF savings are meant to help contributors when they have retired, and noted that the government has provided various initiatives to help flood and COVID-19 victims. He said the issue of insufficient savings is at an alarming stage and noted that the median savings of the B4T is at 1,000 ringgit, and if this level continues until their retirement, they would have 4 ringgit a month to spend for 20 years, while for the M4T, their savings of 25,000 ringgit translates into 104 ringgit to spend per month for the same period of time. To date, each EPF member is allowed to withdraw up to 71,000 ringgit, with the withdrawals totaling 101 billion ringgit through the iLestari, iSinar, and iCitra programs. Apart from that, the government has also provided various financial aid initiatives to help the people, such as the 10 billion ringgit Bantuan Prihatin Rakyat BPR to help the lower income groups of B40 and M40, COVID-19 Special Aid BKC, and the Loss of Income Aid BKP, which have benefited 11 million recipients. Meanwhile, Tengku Zafrul said the government has distributed an expanded financial aid of 1,000 ringgit to flood victims.
ฝันของผู้หญิงทุกคนคือการได้แต่งงานกับคนที่เรารักและคนที่ฉันรักก็คือผมไม่ว่าแต่งงานกับเมย์เด็ดขาดเมย์เขาไม่ใช่ผู้หญิงที่ผมรักแม่เข้าใจหรือยังถ้าแกไม่แต่งกับเมย์นะแกไม่ต้องมาเรียกฉันว่าแม่การแต่งงานของเราจะต้องเป็นความลับ
Moy menyukai Tien yang merupakan anak kepada ibu angkatnya. Namun Tien tidak tertarik dengan Moy.
Tien
ต่อไปเนี้ยเมย์จะเล่นบทผู้ช่วยแล้วก็บทเมียของพี่เทียน
Suatu hari, Tien dipaksa menikahi Moy demi menyingkirkan isteri seorang lelaki berkuasa yang pernah bersamanya. Adakah Tien akan jatuh cinta kepada Moy pada akhirnya? Bermula 20 Disember ini, saksikan My Husband-in-Law setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 8.45 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Hey, sayangku. Banyaklah complicated je lah. Tak sebenarnya ada sesuatu yang senang untuk kita capai.
Nol apa sebenarnya?
Kafe ataupun
Alex.
kafe ataupun
Anda main-main lah.
kau tanya aku madah lah. Kafe ataupun aku mau kau pilih. Kafe atau kop.
Benda ada depan mata kau. Dah terang lagi bersulur. Lagi juga aku si nampak. Apa yang si nampak? Apa kata Kim ikut sekali? Pergi kan Su? Kau jaga aku.
Sampai bila?
Belum tahu Kim.
Kim tunggu.
Su ada banyak beban buat Mbak. Si Adel bagi Kim untuk tanggung.
Sampai bila Su nak tanggung seorang-seorang?
Masih Kim.
Dengan Kimi.
Kimi, nyadang dengan Su.
Oh, jangan Su.
Hai Kimi! Dengan Suraya! Official lah! Ya!
Sayangku.
We're back with some global updates as India has donated 500,000 doses of its inactivated COVID-19 vaccine or Covaxin to Afghanistan, and they will send another batch of the equal amount very soon.
Indian External Affairs Ministry said India has pledged to donate 1 million vaccine doses to the war-torn country, in which the latest batch went to the Indira Gandhi Hospital in Kabul. The vaccine, which is manufactured from killed coronavirus by Indian biotechnology company Bharat Biotech, comes on top of 1.6 tons of medical assistance India provided to Afghanistan through the World Health Organization in December.
And in South Africa, flames and a plume of smoke billowed into the sky after a fire erupted at the South African Parliament building in Cape Town on Sunday.
The fire was on the third story of the building, and initial reports indicated that it started in the office space and has spread towards the gym. It wasn't immediately clear if anyone was in the building. Additionally, the roof area had caught alight, and the National Assembly building was on fire too. Emergency services were dispatched to the scene, which included 6 firefighting appliances and about 36 firefighters, but authorities said after several hours that firefighters had the situation under control.
By the end of 2021, TikTok has surpassed Google as the most popular website on the internet. According to an analysis made by a storage software company known as Cloudflare, more than 1 billion users sign on to scroll TikTok monthly, many of them consisting of children and teenagers. Google fell to second place, followed by Facebook, Microsoft and Apple in third, fourth and fifth most visited websites, respectively.
TikTok first rose to the top on February 17 of last year, and then a few days in March, followed by a few more days in May. It was after August 10 that TikTok took the lead in 2021. Aside from being the most visited website, TikTok was also named the top most visited social media. It has such a massive audience that it quickly became integral in advancing the careers of many entertainers such as Lil Nas X, Giveon, and Doja Cat, to name a few. But TikTok has also had its fair share of controversy. Many had become victims to popular challenges posted on the platform, which caused severe injuries and even deaths, and TikTok rarely addressed these serious issues.
That news wraps up TVS Nightline tonight. For the latest development, visit our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you and have a good week ahead.